Okay, here we go. So, hi everyone. This is the Cronecast at the Rising Moon. Welcome back. My name is Elaine. You will notice that this week we do not have candles, and that is because the temperature shot up almost 30 degrees over the course of about 2 days. And so I just couldn't do it. I have to have the air conditioning running, and unfortunately that causes the candle flames to flicker quite a bit. I actually will be relocating, so hopefully in my next place I will be able to have a desk that does not face the air conditioning vent in the same way. But this week we have 4 piles marked by crystals. So this is pile number 1, this is pile number 2, this is pile number 3, and this is pile number 4. Pile number 1 has citrine, pile number 2 has heliorite. Pile number 3 is amethyst, and then pile number 4 is clear quartz. I'll go over some of the properties of the crystals as we get to your reading. But before I get started, please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the like button. If you can share it, that helps as well. Take a moment, concentrate, see which one calls out to you for this week. That is the message you are most meant to receive. The way these messages work is that it manifests over the course of about 1 to 4 weeks. And why it works that way, I've never really been able to figure it out, but that is the way it works. Okay, so hopefully you've gotten your pile chosen. Go. We're going to have our regularly scheduled light goes on. And then a moment of seasickness. Okay. And hopefully, sailing backwards smoothly. All right, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well and having a good week. Yeah, let's make sure I've got everything in the frame where it belongs. It always takes a moment because, let's see. Oh, I'm awfully high. Let's see. It takes about 10 seconds for the video to catch up. All right, so for pile number 1, let's get our little table talk out. Hope everybody is doing, do I like that? I do not like that. Hold on just a moment. It's up just a little bit high. Here we go. Okay, for pile number 1, we have citrine. Citrine is actually very good for prosperity magic. And in fact, everything but the heliorite crystal normally surrounds my money lamp. I have a hoodoo money lamp that I usually burn. I haven't been burning it very much recently, but when I do, it's supposed to help bring in more business. It works best with the efforts that we put out. Okay, so pile number 1, yours is citrine. My son actually gave this to me for Christmas. It is one of the prosperity crystals. It is good for drawing wealth, for drawing good fortune. It helps with clarity as well. So pile number 1, your deck is the vice versa deck. Let's get going with your oracle cards. You have Finding Sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source. The picture that I used, thumbnail that I used in the description is actually from a botanical garden nearby that I've been going to after we were all kind of ordered to go like hug a tree or else. That's where I've been going all week long to try and hang out with some butterflies and some birds and things to get better grounded, to try and open up my third eye for my own purposes. It's been open for my clients, but it had been I've been a little bit blocked. And so for myself, so I was going out there to ground. We have Protective Nest. Finding Sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source, and Protective Nest. That can be about spiritual cleansing. It can be about kind of, again, aligning so that you're whole within. Grounding, which is in the root chakra, is very, very key to anxiety management, but it also helps with your ability to see. Achievement, win the award, accolade, or contract. Well, good. Let's see what's going on here. Peace. I love that card. With the tribe. So a tribe is an interesting concept because if you don't know a lot of people in the 3D who you have a lot in common with, it can be very difficult to find your tribe. And it isn't just about friendships and it isn't just about family. It is about finding like-minded people, people who support you, people who dwell in the same energy. So as a, for instance, kind of a community that can form around collectives is also a form of tribe. And interacting electronically absolutely counts for social interaction, which empaths, my little Empath Nation, we were always being told that as introverted as most of us like to be, it's very important to have connections, to have passions, to have pursuits, to make sure that we have balance in our life. Laugh at your demons. That is a raise your vibe energy. And your shadow work is blinded to pain. Oh, that's about having more healing work to do. Sometimes, and I find this a lot for people who are recovering from a great deal of trauma, we can, just because we've started to put things in the rearview mirror, we can think, oh, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed. And there's still something there. There's still something there. Anything that triggers you to anger is one of the things that can indicate that there's something remaining to heal. Anything, if you're not able to, if you're with a friend and they have similar issues and you're discussing things and their stuff starts triggering your stuff, that's also an indication that there's still something there to explore. I have acceptance. I am learning to accept that the things that I cannot change. That is one of the more difficult things for people who can manifest to understand. And manifesting, now the law of attraction, while interesting, is not actually what I work with that much. I do not believe that, hey, if you have even one negative thought, your manifestations won't come true. We exist best in a balance, and that, always look towards the bright, believe, 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 never let a negative thought enter your mind, is actually, it's not actually good for people. It encourages emotional repression. It encourages some forms of denial. Always try to reset and go towards gratitude. Think about what you have versus what you're lacking. Really assess your life for all it does contain. But there's often too much pressure in spiritual communities to polish the turd kind of and say that this isn't too bad, this is fine, I'm okay, sure, I'm like in the ICU, but I'm all right, I still have my limbs. It is a lot of pressure to never admit that, hey, I've got a struggle, hey, I'm trying to heal something, hey, there is something, and that is the blinded to pain energy that needs to be dealt with. We are actually allowed to be human. All right, journey within. Well, more and more. Still something remaining to be healed, my citrine group. And particularly if you're trying to manifest anything having to do with prosperity or money or security. Root chakra work contains your security issues, and that is also where fear and anxiety and actually some anger can dwell as well. Anxiety comes from the root chakra. And it can be confused with intuition, because people who are very intuitive have a tendency to be anxious because we can feel a lot. And so the way to tell it's your intuition versus your anxiety is your intuition will give you like a certainty, a surety. It's a phrase I use all the time, whereas your anxiety will frighten you. It will start telling you all the things that can go wrong and spinning and increasing. And usually your intuition is essentially a declarative statement within your mind. And the things that come after that are your root chakra kind of kicking in because you're not quite grounded enough. Let's get going for the predictive spread for May 3rd. I don't think I said the date range. I apologize. May 3rd to May 9th, 2021. We're working with May 3rd to May 9th, 2021. 5th month of the year already. Yeah. Let's get going here. What have we got? What have we got? There we go. 2 more times. Okay. The devil in the upright. Oh no, I beg your pardon. It's the strength card. This is the emperor. This is the devil in reverse, which is good. The devil is one of the cards for codependency. It is not always a bad card. It really can be about hey, indulge yourself. Go have that great big piece of cheesecake or whatever it is that might be a self-indulgent thing. It's important to be healthy. It's also important to make sure you have a rounded experience. The devil in reverse is a card for recovery, for giving up relationships that aren't serving you, and for going towards your own healing and health. I have the 5 of Cups in reverse. After healing, then comes more increase. The 2 of Cups this is basically a concealed 2 of Cups card. The 5 of Cups in reverse is, in the upright, it can be grief and loss and mourning and pain. Sometimes it can be exaggerating a set of circumstances. I personally rarely see it that way because so many people who are drawn to me are usually, they're recovering from actual real trauma. And so it's rarely a card of exaggerated woes for me or anybody in my collective. In reverse, it is having dealt with the pain, dealt with the grief, dealt with the difficulties and the roadblocks. And after that, what remains is that which will make you happy now. That which is trying to come to you. And again, it is a 2 of Cups energy because the 5 of Cups is almost always depicted with 3 cups knocked over and 2 in the upright. And in fact, the Two of Cups in the upright is what just followed that. The Five of Pentacles in the upright. This is a victim mentality, like anxiety card, though. Five of Pentacles can be about financial deprivation, but it can be about feeling left out, as if everybody else has something that you're hoping for and that you feel very excluded. It can also be ignoring the support that is there, because in most depictions, this figure, and in this one as well, is depicted as being right outside a church. So sanctuary is directly behind them. We have the sanctuary card, and they're, instead of going towards it, they are sitting outside of it. Sometimes it's a card of our isolation is a choice. I have the Five of Wands in reverse, 5 in the upright, 5 in reverse. So when we get that, one number in the upright, one number in reverse, often that can be what's called a light code or a download, but it is also calling attention to the numerological repetition within tarot. Fives are the energy of change. This would suggest with this and with this, because that's a 5 as well, that change is coming to an end, and you are finally going to be establishing roots again and growing and going forward. 10 of Wands in reverse is less stress, releasing burdens, going forward unencumbered. I have the Empress in reverse. This is one of the cards for innovation, but it is also a card of balancing between the kind of the intuition and then the earthly existence. The Empress in the upright just loves life. She can be about pleasure and self-indulgence. In reverse, it can be striking a good balance with that, is also the need to be innovative with solutions. The Empress is endlessly resourceful. 6 of Swords in reverse can be a returning energy, somebody coming back to your life. It can also be a delay. Let's see what it comes out with. It comes out with the Knight of Wands in reverse. That looks like a delay to me. With the 6 of Cups in the upright, this is one of my favorite soulmate cards. We've got a bunch of soulmate cards on the scene right now. The soulmate card for the 6 of Cups is an indicator of a past life relationship. Now, it can be a relationship from the past, and in fact, the 6 of Cups can be your relationship to the past. That comes out with the 9 of Cups in the upright, which is wish fulfillment. It's the genie card. When this comes on the scene, it usually means that you're going to get what you're hoping for. Now, the only problem with that is we're not always hoping for the things that are good for us. 7 of Pentacles in reverse, Ace of Cups in the upright, yay. Magician in the upright. Well, pile number 1, you're actually doing quite well. There's nothing more that you need to do. Like, you've been, in terms of setting your energetic stage to receive more. If you have, this is the 10 of Pentacles in the upright. Group number 1, you certainly have a wonderful energy today. You're hoping, oh gosh, Judgment. That is the card of what I do. It's the start of new karmic cycles. It is also truth and clarity, things being revealed. Okay. 10 of Swords in reverse. That is the 10. I'm very sorry. This is about releasing the past, having processed emotional pain. This is the 10 of Wands in reverse, and that is the fewer burdens, releasing them, moving forward. 9 of Pentacles in reverse after a period of frustration. All right, can I get a couple more? These are psychic influence areas. Like I said, nobody really understands this spread because I designed it. Ace of Wands in reverse with the World in reverse. One more, please. 3 of Wands in reverse. Okay. So let's see what we've got going here, group number 1. Interesting time period coming up. Finally, after what looks like a lot of work, you have achieved peace and stillness within. There are new beginnings in your life. The aces are the start of something new. You have healed. If you have been hoping to make a greater connection with more people, there is kind of a good, strong partnership available to you. It appears to be coming. There's a little bit of a delay around that, but that's okay. You're like you've got all these plans that you need to make and some decisions around your earthly security. You've been trying to make a great deal happen in that area. And most of 2021, of course, contained nothing but the inability to move forward. You're concentrating on gathering more. And I mean more in every area. Like more, like you've been kind of leaning in on listening to expanding your energetic existence so that you're not so single-minded. People with anxiety have a tendency to learn how to manage it through almost compulsive behaviors to try and achieve safety, to try and achieve peace. It looks like more and more you have been working with energy to do that. Angel of Love in the upright. Well, that's a nice card with the Two of Cups. What's happening? We'll have to check the romance angels too. Be nice if the the long, desert that was 2020 and the beginning of 2021, Healer of the Ages, hostilities with indecision. Okay, there's a little bit of conflict around a choice. Looks like internal conflict. Healer of the Ages with Angel of Love. Can I get anything else? Can I get anything else here? Anxiety. Oh, it's around your earthly security. Okay. Angel of Balance. Okay. Continue to work on energetic balance to help with this feeling of, here's the thing, you're still having some issues with anger. Like it's like it comes upon you as you are trying to heal trauma. My poor collective had the stuffing whooped out of it in terms of energetic injury. And you have been trying and trying and trying and succeeding quite a bit. You have been concerned about your earthly stability. You have been trying to make some changes to bring about a new beginning, and one where you can feel more secure. You have some good choices coming up to you, and that's very shortly. That's about within the next 10 days. You will wring yourself out on it because unfortunately, that is still a struggle for you. Make sure that you are doing what you need to in order to energetically balance. Grounding, grounding, grounding. The healing power of grounding, it cannot be stressed enough. It is actually a beautiful time of the year in most areas of the world right now. Make sure that you are interacting with the actual ground as much as you can. Taking walks, going into the park. If you live anywhere near a shore or fresh water sources, those are incredibly grounding as well. If you don't, and you're like, I can't, I'm housebound, what am I supposed to do? Watch nature programs, sincerely try and interact with grounding influences. It is one of the things that will help aid your ability to make a choice. You get frustrated with delays at this point because you think it's going to be this ever perpetuating cycle, and it's not. That part is behind you. Your personal power is starting to carry you forward in all areas of your life. You have some decisions to make in the coming weeks. And you know what? It can be a little bit difficult for you to make decisions simply because I think you may have had to recover from codependency. So did I. I'm the codependency queen. It is okay to ask for the feedback. That's one of the things with the tribe of the people that you know. It's not the same thing as being overly reliant on them. Once you've been codependent, and it doesn't just exist in romantic relationships, it can exist in friendships as well. If you have been codependent, you just kind of have to remember that the cure for codependence is independence, meaning that you can ask for the advice of others. It's just very important not to give away your decision-making power. But it's fine to one of the things that was coming out with the energy oracle is that you've got some decisions coming up and you're very uncertain about them. You're not sure which way to turn. And whenever that happens, you start to spin out into a very anxious state. And I'm not sure if you overeat or if you can't eat, but there's something with your physical house that goes on when you're stressed. And you've been doing so much work simply to try and kind of repair your relationship to relationships, partially so that you can have new ones as well. And you're very concerned about not maintaining your own independence. You don't have to do everything alone. If you know somebody who's good at something or they have information, it's fine to ask them. It's not it's a very hard balance to strike, because when we're trying to recover from codependence, we do have to like reclaim our personal power with the emperor and go forward and have confidence in our own ability so that we don't accept the wrong people into our lives. That's really what that's all about. If you're codependent and you just kind of like to cede your power to somebody else, what do you think we should do? And like whatever they do, you're like, okay, I will support you. I will work very hard in that decision to make it the best thing for both of us. We're supposed to have an equal voice in relationships. And one of the ways to recover from codependence is to make sure that you are asserting your voice within your own existence. But that is not the same thing as you have to soldier forth alone. Strike that balance and you will have a better experience. You do have, the thing is that there is, for this particular group, there is evidence of a relationship trying to enter your life. It's on the other side of some kind of bigger changes around your security. And you have been like, there's enough going on that it's kind of not been your focus. Like you're like, there's a part of you that every now and then, and by the way, if you're happily paired up, that means this part of the message is not for you. But if you aren't, and you have been trying to recover from codependence, then, and by the way, you can be in a relationship and still healing from codependence. See, there really is, there is a way to stay paired up and continue to heal. You just have to do more and more independently, asserting your own interest, going towards that which interests you, having passions that are separate from your partner, just knowing that you make your own decisions, that you have the ability to, should that person be abducted by aliens or disappear into a void in the universe, you're left fully capable in your own life. And that's really all that's about. But for the people who have been seeking a relationship, it's like it's trying to creep closer and closer. And it's almost like you're on the other side of like you've leaned in on healing so much that you're a little hypercritical of yourself around ever asking for help or accepting help. And there is a difference. We're still allowed to accept support. We're still allowed to ask for an answering voice on, what do you think about this? What's your opinion? What's the best? Well, like if somebody has more expertise, it's absolutely, if they have more experience in something, it's normal to ask somebody else's opinion. It's just letting other people make your decisions for you because you don't have faith in yourself. That's a hallmark of codependency. You're doing a lot better. You just are. You've got all these 10s as well. 10s are about complete cycles. You've got 3 10s. I picked up courthouse. That's also making a decision, pathway, and concern. There is something about your path forward that is causing you not a lot of anxiety, but I think it's one of the first big decisions that, and it may be around a job or it may be around where you live. It's one of the first big decisions that you've had to undertake entirely like on your own without like, and by the way, codependence is not just in romantic relationships. Some people can have a codependent relationship to their parents. They can simply never have stepped into their own autonomous energy, their own individual power. You're overcompensating. You're just overcompensating a little bit. It's still okay to ask for the input of others, to then sit and also to make a decision with the help of somebody else. So just keep that part in mind. Don't think like that you've been asked to, like, every single thing is something you must soldier through by yourself. You do have leadership techniques and qualities within you that you haven't ever tapped into. You actually have playfulness, separation, time apart from your partner is on the horizon, and then playfulness to recapture romance, allow your inner spirit of fun to shine. See, I think you've been in a period where you don't have the person in your life that you were hoping for. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. This is still that energy of making sure that you are living as full a life as you can. Listen, there's something out there. There's something out there that's been trying to make its way into your life. And is it a person who is known to you? It may be. It really may be. Is it perhaps an entirely new person? That is also possible. You did a lot of work and the progress was delayed. And this has been a theme for a while. And as it was delayed and delayed and delayed, you had less and less faith that there was anything on the other side of, like, spirit guides, and is anything truly guiding me? And there always has been. And you're just struggling a little bit with truly believing that any of this is real any longer. Any of this will actually come true for you. It is coming true. You've actually, if you think about it, you've had kind of recent experience with, oh, that was very clearly a spirit guide message. It, once again, was not in an area that you wanted it to be. And you're frustrated and sometimes really quite angry with the process around, like, okay, do I just not get anything I ever want? Is that the point of this? That, like, the whole thing of surrender is like, give up. Like, you'll be, it's like the surprise boxes of, I bought, $1,500 worth of Amazon returns. Goodness knows what's going to be in that big old box. That's what you think life might be, is like, I'll just open it and it's like, oh God, hair clippers, like whatever it might be. It is not necessarily what you're hoping for. You think you're just going to be like, hey, you'll take what you want and take what you get and be happy with it. And that is not what any of this means. You're very, very, very intuitive, and you're very, very, very empathic. And you just have always felt a little bit better when someone who is less so is involved in your life, because you think that they have a more clear-headed vision than you do, and they don't. And that was one of the biggest holdups, is simply that learning to trust that you're actually gifted, you're not broken. And that was really it. But you have more coming to you. And every time that I say that, I feel like people are like, oh yeah, sure, Lady Wem. Soon, there's a big change that you need to make around your earthly security. You're being asked to make it by yourself so that you can have more faith in yourself. Like, it's actually going to turn out really well. And there's multiple choices in it. And it is within, I believe, the next 2 weeks. Five of Wands in the upright. Let's see what else we can get. This is Spooky. Spooky is a divine message deck. And that means that it doesn't really read for people any longer. It delivers and clarifies the messages from readings before it. And I don't understand exactly why it happened. It's about a 30-year-old wider rate deck. Knight of Pentacles in the upright. Slow, steady progress. Can I get some more, please? Ten of Cups in the upright. All right. Despite some conflict, a little bit of an argument, the Five of Wands is about bickering sometimes. It's not like a heated, pitched battle. It can be about people, like, there's confusion, there's change, and it's a bickering type of thing. It's not pointed and malicious. I think that's the energy you've had going along with the idea of there is guidance in this world for you, because the delay around your healing drove you almost berserk, because, like, it felt like I try and nothing will happen. What is the point of this? You've made the progress that you need to, and you're very close to achieving the picture. This is a miracles card as well, of having the life and perhaps even the partner that you want in that life. The kind of the last thing to get over is in this big life decision, and you'll know it as it comes up. It's either going to be a new job, it's going to be a relocation, it's going to be a move. After you make that big decision, after you change the set of circumstances that you were in that held you back for so long, you'll be ready. And it is coming up. It genuinely is coming up. And kind of, it's been a little bit by design that it came up in a way that things were so delayed that you stopped relying on the concept of there is something guiding me. And that's a little bit purposeful. It's a little bit purposeful because whether or not you realize it, Pile number one, you accidentally were transferring dependence onto tarot and to spirit guides, and they are there to help steer us, but they don't lead us every step of the way. Tarot is meant for guideposts, not roadmaps, and you really want it around that. All right, pile number one, that was your reading for the week. Again, those manifest between 1 to 4 weeks. And we're moving on to pile number two. Your crystal on this very hot day when I just could not bear to have candles is heliorite. It is, I really enjoy this. You can meditate with it on, whatever chakra you feel is blocked. And it can, like, I meditate lying down all the time. I know that you're supposed to be in alignment. It just kind of, I don't meditate well sitting. My mind keeps going and going and going. I have a super active mind. So I have to kind of trick it into allowing me to meditate. So I will often go to sleep, to yoga nidra, to a couple of other guided meditations. And you can put this on the chakra point that is feeling blocked or is impeding your progress. So pile number two, your heliorite, and that is likely going to mean that we're at a healing pile. All right, vast vistas, expand your horizons. Don't self-limit. All is connected. From the Mystical Moments Oracle. We do like to try, we like to view the areas of our life as being separate, like the past, the present, the future, or this relationship, that job, this time in my life, as being like an episode or a chapter that is not part of a greater fabric. Meaning that if you're on the other side of kind of a darker period, like you kind of want to turn your back on it as if it's something to just like, I cannot get away from that quickly enough. There's a lot coming to you. And even though it's a laughable concept to you right now, everything that you went through is key to everything that you're receiving. It will balance out. And please think about that. If you've been in a very, very dark time period and the universe is trying to balance that out, that does mean that it's going to be a much better one to compensate for that long, dark time of your life where it felt like something was dragging you down constantly. I have come to the edge. Oh, that's a taking risks card as well. With soulmates. This card I genuinely enjoy, and it has 2 penguins on it. I had it out in front of a client because one has its little head tucked on the other one's, like wing basically. And the poor client thought that it was headless, which I thought was like, I don't know what she thought her soulmate was going to do, but it was actually quite funny. And we both laughed about it quite a bit. Fire, the element of fire heralds new life, renewed passion, and positive transformation. Don't self-limit. Don't keep closing doors. Don't run for safety. Admit your vulnerabilities. It can be anxiety. It can be fear. It can be fear of commitment. It can be a tendency towards self-defeatism. It can be being averse to risk, which a lot of people with anxiety are very averse to risk. Remember, in order for things to increase and to gain, sometimes we have to hang it out there a little bit, come to the edge. Your shadow work is the child I was meant to be. All of that healing gets you back to your core self. All that shadow work. And I'm finally going to, as I said, I'm going to be able to start shooting videos again. One of the things that I have planned is, what shadow work do I have to do? Because it comes up over and over again that we need to go back and find the formative damage, the core wounds that have impeded our progress in this lifetime. And it can be difficult to identify them. When particularly things from childhood, it was just our experience, and we kind of don't examine it from a greater perspective of going, oh, that's not, that's really not okay. Or that went into forming me, that went into making me think that I always had to people please to gain love, to gain acceptance. Abundance is your right. And then adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. So this is usually one that is best viewed in retrospect. If you've really been through the poo, it can be very, very difficult to accept or to believe that, listen, those terrible things, they help to teach you something. And as I'm always saying, I take so much issue with that happened for your highest good. The divine is never out to like really hurt us, never. But quite often we're the ones making things harder on ourselves because we try to hold on to the things that are not meant for us. We try to explain away things so that we continue to hold on to the things that are not meant for us. If something has been very, very, very difficult and you haven't been able to shed it, and the process would not leave you alone and would not leave you in peace, there is some validity to the idea that that was for your highest good. But the pain and the trauma and the difficulty are not the part that was for your highest good. And by the way, your highest good is simply you. It is not the divine deciding anything. It is, we come here basically with an itinerary, with a lesson plan, hoping to do certain things, hoping to continue to evolve. We're trying to counterbalance with a difficult form of life that gets in its own way. We all contain our opposites. So if you're kind and loving, you can also be like, kind of punishing and angry. And that's completely normal. We're meant to have a balance of energies, and we're reaching for our best selves. And our highest good is our highest self trying to draw us towards that. And it's so that we can help this life form evolve, but it's also so that we can continue to be challenged and learn. I'm always telling people, don't envy people who appear to have easy lives. You genuinely don't know what their next lifetime will be like. You also don't know what their internal world is like. There is a sense of esteem for self that comes from overcoming. If you have been through a lot and you are still standing, then there's a very good chance that you are learning how to respect yourself and your abilities better. Four of Wands in the upright. This, by the way, is the Celtic deck. This sucker sat in a box for 15 years. And when I took it out, Knight of Swords in the upright is progress. It can be air travel. It is movement as well. And it is certainty and surety and making decisions. And when I took it out of the box, the very first time I read with it, all it did was like spit out the most determined and somewhat violent cards in the tarot deck, like it was swearing at me. And it took a while to calm down, but I used it for conflict resolution kind of a lot. But the poor guy hasn't been getting used recently, so I just decided to pull him out. And now he's not spitting out anything. So come on, dude. There we go. Yes, I kind of talk to my decks like they have personalities. Six of Cups in reverse. Difficult past. Trying to resolve your relationship to the past. Admit your vulnerabilities. The things that you've had to overcome in the past may rise up again in the future, and you will be called upon to reach for the lessons, the teaching, and the strength that you gained from healing in order to overcome. There is a point to everything that we go through, and we can carry forward that which we learn into our next relationships, into our next jobs, into our next set of circumstances. Nothing is ever truly wasted. I have the King of Wands in reverse. I have the Justice card in reverse. It's a card for divine timing. It can be a delayed type of thing. It can be an unfair situation as well. King of Wands in reverse that's like impulsivity run amok. That is trying to make a decision to get something over with. Can also be somebody who's not a particularly sincere person. And in the past, it can be somebody who is got a bad temper, who has misused it against you. I have the Ace of Swords in the upright, Six of Pentacles in the upright. That is a restoration of balance. The Six of the Justice card in reverse. There's clarity around the situation for you that you did a lot to change. The Four of Wands is happiness, contentment, celebration, stability. It can also be, it is one of the twin flame cards. It can also be a card for marriage. Two of Wands in reverse, making choices. The Emperor in reverse, that's in the hopes and fears. That's that, like, you are likely, because you're in my collective, I have a very small collective of people who are healers, essentially. You're empaths and developing psychics. A lot of you have manifesting abilities. And being a healer does not mean that you have to go into a healing profession, just that you have healing energy. And whatever you're working in, whatever you're drawn towards, you have that to give to other people. And what happens to people who have natural healing energy is that predators have a tendency to identify it and try to misuse it. And so many people who are empaths, healers, psychics, magicians, witches, They've had a series of difficult relationships that they had to overcome to reestablish a relationship to self, to step into their firm power. And you have returned to a state of balance. Nine of Pentacles in the upright is independence. With the Queen of Cups in the upright, that's emotional fulfillment as well. It can be a loving, nurturing, maternal type of energy. With Temperance in reverse, oh, don't be impatient again. Six of Wands in the upright, then be a card of literal movement. It is progress, it is victory. It can be a new person coming in. Judgment in the upright, that is clarity, truth as well. King of Swords in reverse. Yeah. That's somebody who, there's a lot of truth coming out around, and it's clarity within your own mind, but I think it's clarity for other people as well about an unfair situation in the past. And you were left without a lot of allies, or you certainly felt that way. That was all very purposeful. It's not that you weren't cared about. You actually are a very cared about person. You were a little bit isolated because adversity, you had to go back to being who you were meant to be, because we are in the Judgment card, and the upright is a healer's card as well, being called to your life's purpose. Your true life's purpose is trying to reveal itself to you. Like there's more to come on that. With the High Priestess in the upright, that can be things that are hidden. It is also intuition. Seven of Cups in the upright, this is like having a lot of choices, needing to be careful with them. It can also be, for me, one of the cards of magic and spell work. It's coming out with the Hanged Man in the upright, which is, that can be about sacrificing things. It can also be about needing to take a new perspective on things. It's also about like not acting hastily. Wait until you've got all the information that you can get. Don't jump at the very first thing. And you might be a little bit tempted to. You really are trying to leave behind something so much that, like, if you were living in a house and you were moving out of it, there's a part of you that just wants to toss a match over your shoulder on the way out. You would like to, this past relationship, this past energy, like you just want things to, you want your new life. You just want your new life. I have the Knight of Wands in reverse. Got that in the other read as well. That can be frustration, anger, somebody's misused their temper. The Magician in reverse is a manipulator's card. I have the Death card in reverse. I have the Nine of Wands in the upright. It's time to have some good boundaries around a past relationship. I kind of don't, well, the only not awesome thing that is coming out in this particular reading is that there's somebody who's trying to have Five of Wands in reverse. Good. That's peace restoration. The restoration of peace in your life. There's somebody in your life who just like they're trying to reestablish or reassert themselves in your life. This is communication. This is also like fast moving in progress. I've got a lot of things that suggest there may be actual physical movement in your life. It can be traveling. You may be making plans around where you can go now that restrictions are starting to ease. But it is just as likely, as you have made all of this progress, again, you're trying to firm up the details around what your life is going to look like. And you want to run for safety. And it's not because you're a coward. Like you're one of the furthest things from a coward. You're incredibly resilient. Like you never truly give up. You will do things even though you're terrified while you're doing them. You do them anyway. And by the way, that's bravery. Like sincerely, it's not brave unless you're a little scared. Like otherwise, it's just the thing you're doing. You do a lot. And you have, like, you've brought yourself into balance through hard work, and circumstances have been in your way sometimes. And there is this figure from the past who just, they don't really want to let go of you. All is connected. Yeah, I want to make sure I got this card as well. Admit your vulnerabilities. Be careful. Don't let that person, that energy, it could be a family member, it could be a former partner, it could be a friend. Don't let that person pull your strings. Like they understand what's important to you. And this has been coming up over and over again, that like there's a resurgence of an energy that like it's a test of how much you've healed on some levels. Don't, you have healed. You have healed. I think this is just an opportunity for you to kind of spot something that went on over and over again in your past and you didn't spot it at the time. And you've been really hard on yourself about that. Like you really have been like, how could I have not seen? How did I not know? Because you're a really good person. It's really kind of that simple. Like you didn't spot that like there was this like liar in your life, this liar who was misusing power in your life, because you wouldn't. You just kind of wouldn't. And it's not about blaming yourself. There's a little bit of an opportunity to be like, you know, backpat yourself, because there's a challenge coming up with somebody in your life who has been like, they don't have good boundaries and they're used to being able to tromp all over yours. There is an opportunity for you to kind of effortlessly, and it is effortless, like you now have good boundaries. You enforce them without it needing to be, and for a while you went through a hard time with that. You went through a hard time with like, how do I enforce a boundary without being an incredible jerk about it? And now they're just kind of there. You did all of this healing work so that you would have good boundaries. And you're going to have an opportunity to see that. I want one more because that's the root chakra card, and then rest and rejuvenation. That is, root chakra work is excellent for anxiety. Oh, storm warning, and then walking away. Again, there's just this like attempt to interfere, and you just don't have more faith in you. Just have more faith in you. You don't need to be nervous and you don't need to be afraid. And you might not even spot it until in retrospect, because that's how it's almost like the proof of the pudding. You've heard over and over again, probably for years at this point, heal, 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 heal. And at some point, you became healed enough in an area that it's no longer fragile. And that's that area. What else have we got? There's something about like kindness and generosity that you're going to be receiving as well. This is from a separate source. This abuser of power in your life is like they're gonna try and abuse some power in your life again in a separate set of circumstances. Like you have now come to the point where it's difficult for you to accept anything from anyone. And it's not because you distrust absolutely everybody, but you kind of, your guard is way up, and it's needed to be. It's needed to be. It wasn't just this person. Like you had a series of people kind of come in and out of your life who, and it really was, that was for your highest good, heaven help us, who were there to help you understand how to set boundaries. There were people who like tried to take advantage of you, or who were completely like blind to the fact that you had your own stuff going on and tried to dump all over you, and you wouldn't let them, and they left your life. And like there's all of this stuff where you've completed a course. Basically you've completed a course. It's almost graduation day, because that's the Six of Wands energy as well. Metamorphosis with commitment, movement, more and more movement, balancing act. You may actually be physically moving soon. You genuinely might be physically moving soon. This does not appear to have to do with a job. It may be that you are moving for a job. There's a little bit of a relocation type of energy for you. You might be signing paperwork around that as well. Again, take your time, take your time, take your time. And if you don't, like, what will happen? Will you end up in the wrong place? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. But like what you will end up is kind of upset, because the universe like has a plan for you. The universe wants you doing something to live in that healed energy that was all for bringing you to your life's purpose, which you really, whether or not you're consciously aware of it, it was really something you wanted. You wanted to be making a difference in the greater world. Like, you have a lot of love to give. You have a lot of compassion for others. You can be generous to a fault sometimes, like sincerely. Sometimes you've given way more than you've ever received, and you sacrifice a little bit too much for others. And you're getting much better about having good boundaries, recognizing that you need to meet your own needs first before you can meet other people's needs. All of that was so that you could live in an energy where you could be self-protective enough to live in the purpose that you asked for. And your higher consciousness was always aware of it. And I have a feeling in this particular collective, a lot of people are like, no, I really would like my life's purpose. And for some, like, it didn't come and it didn't come and it didn't come. And like, you kind of feels like, well, maybe that's not really a thing. It's a thing. All of the difficulties, all of the challenges, all of the sometimes solitude and adversity that you have faced, you deserve love. Codependency, you deserve love. Codependency is when we look for our worth in the eyes of another. It is like an addiction. It functions like an addiction. If you have been like held in this, like you don't get a human being, like you're all by yourself all the time, trust the situation is calling on you to have faith. It's safe for you to love. You're ready is basically what this is saying. You are ready. You are ready. You did heal. There is like this one little, like at the end of it, you're almost going to want a diploma type of energy that is coming up. And it does have to do with the significant change that you have been trying to bring into your life. That change is here. One of the last tests that you have around your healing is, are you able to wait for the right solution? You like certainty. You like things to be very ordered because it gives you a sense of safety. Please don't, you're selling yourself short a lot. And the change that you're trying to make it at a level that is like a little punitive to you. Like, be a little bit more expansive in what you allow into your life, okay? It's just that everything that you want is being made possible through your efforts as you step into your purpose. Have some faith in you. And the trust card, which is calling, the situation is calling on you to have faith. Please believe everything you went through is not so that you could like become like an island and never allow another person into your life. It was so that you could have the right person in your life. 3, this is pile number 3. I will edit in timestamps after the broadcast. I'm not using candles today because like the temperature shot up like almost 30 degrees over the course of 2 days and I just couldn't face it. So today we are doing crystals. This is amethyst. Amethyst is very, very, very good for psychic protection. You can, if you sleep with it by the head of your bed, it also will help protect your dream world. Taking shelter. The answers are within. Trusting them is the hard thing sometimes, though. Can you hear me? Oh my goodness. It's your guides, your guides, your guides, your guides, your guides. Your guides are hammering on your door still. Mending. Time for a nap. That's more and more meditative. You healing, mending, fixing things. Labyrinth. Transition to a higher level of being, raising your energetic vibration, enlightenment. Oh, here's hoping you have a good activation coming up. Shine your light. If you have healing energy, and part of the deal with my collective is the reason I have such a small collective is I do have empaths, I do have developing psychics, I do have people who can do magician, who can do magic. You also have healing energy. You have healing energy. It's part of the reason that you have likely attracted a predator in your life in the form of a codependent relationship. Somebody who is there to take your power, to limit your ability to make your own decisions, to move forward purposefully in this world. You have overcome so very much, but throughout the course of it, You stopped, like, your anxiety made you want to call an end to something before it was actually done. Like if your life was a cake, you kept trying to pull it out of the oven when it was still liquid in the center, going, it's cooked on the outside. We'll just eat that part. Your toothpick's coming out clean, basically. But through that particular process, you lost, like it just took too long. And this has been a theme over and over again, particularly with pile 3, is something took too long. And it kind of dented your ability to invest in everything. That's trying to reach you again. It's trying to manifest in your life, and you're trying to, like, you're got a little bit of a grudge match going on with your spirit guides. That's all. It's that they didn't bring you what you wanted, and so you don't listen to them very carefully any longer. You're trying to do better, like you've been making the mending effort, the time for a nap. I don't know what miracle happened, but apparently my workaholic collective finally was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll find something fun to do. And whether it was that you went and got a snow cone or whatever it was, but there's been effort to try and repair something. Make sure you're trying to be as receptive as possible. Answers are trying to come to you about your purpose. You're addicted. Oh, this is the codependent energy that unfortunately my poor empaths have a tendency to deal with, and I am the codependency queen. It is never, ever, ever an insult. It forms almost always from childhood damage, from formative experiences that were damaging to your sense of worth, to your sense of independence, and to your ability to believe in yourself. Addicted is also trying to hide from the pain within through substances, sometimes food. It can be drinking. It can be drugs. It can also be relationships to, like, add balm to your soul, making you feel loved. Guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. Focus on the positive. That is always a very, very important energy. This is the White Sage deck that I have not used in kind of a long time. The very first time I ever opened this, like 2 cards flew out of it and went directly underneath my refrigerator. And I had to remove the fridge to get them out. And it was a very weird deck for a while. At the very beginning of, like, when I formed this channel, like there's videos where it's sitting over in a corner, like underneath a pile of crystals. As I'm like, be blessed, be blessed. We have worked out our differences and now it reads just fine. Here we go. What do we got for pile number 3? Guilt and shame. By the way, if you were, a lot of codependency forms from the relationships we see around us. Like I have a client who, and by the way, like I never use identifying details. It's just, there's sometimes things come up that if other people are made aware of them, it can help them. I had a client who I was doing a source read on to find out where their codependency came from, because like they genuinely didn't know. And not all codependency is equal. Like some people like just grew up in families where the mom and the dad were like, they did everything as a unit. Like if he was out of town, she couldn't sleep. And like, if she was out of town, like everybody was eating like ramen because he didn't know how to cook. And like, they didn't maintain their whole life skill sets. And that's a form of codependency that, while limiting, is not entirely destructive. So not all codependency involves destruction or toxicity at the level. It's just limiting versus poisonous. So you can simply start to experience a codependent energy because your parents were incredibly connected, or your grandparents were incredibly connected, and they met, married 4 weeks later, and 50 years later died 4 days apart type of. While sweet also means that they were very intermingled and meshed in a way that wasn't about individual power. And individual power is part of our life's purpose. We do come here with a unique and an individual purpose. You've done the work, though. Congratulations, pile number 3. Justice, you're in balance. Hooray. There's also the card for divine timing at work. There we go. For some reason, just very recently, I've been getting hammered by that divine timing energy again, but in like a resolution sort of way. With the page of actions being taken to change the set of circumstances. It can be a fire sign. As anybody watches me for any length of time, I very, very rarely call out the astrological signs because there's a lot that goes into astrology. There just is. Like, as I'm always saying, I'm a very atypical Taurus, And so like, this is sun, moon, rising, what's going, it's one of the least accurate ways to tell what these cards are describing. I like to go by the personality traits that are indicated by this. So this is can be moving forward with a decision. The pages get things started, and this is an action taken. It can be the spark of creativity as well. King of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, good. I think your depression is clearing up. Page of Swords in the upright. With the Six of Pentacles in the upright. Group number 3, Death in the upright. That can be closure, new beginning, transformation. With the Six of Cups in reverse, after a difficult period in the past, Nine of Wands in reverse, Ace of Wands in reverse, Two of Pentacles in reverse, Eight of Swords in reverse, Seven of Cups in reverse. Choices being made, plans coming together. You need to make a decision. Nine of Pentacles in the upright, Five of Pentacles in the upright, the Empress in the upright. Okay. There is a challenge to your independence. Like there's somebody who is used to having an influence in your life. And I think you've been trying to move beyond that relationship. And it could be to a family member, by the way, because the Empress is quite frequently your mom. Like, you may have somebody pushing on your boundaries. You're going to do fine with it. You've got your guard up. Page of Pentacles in reverse. They don't get very far. Six of Wands in reverse. They genuinely don't. Nine of Cups in reverse. The Tower in the upright. Well, that's nice. Two of Swords in the upright. Nine of Cups in reverse can be disappointment. The Tower in the upright is a change. It can be a surprise. This is like something's going to be made clear. King of Swords in the upright. That is another card for clarity and truth. Wheel of Fortune in the upright. Six of Swords in the upright. Turning your back on the Emperor in the upright. Okay. You're leaving behind a period in which you felt kind of powerless. This could be because Mother's Day is coming up. If you, kind of what I went into at the very beginning of this is our relationship to our parents, and it's not an insult to your parents. Like it just kind of looks like there's this maternal figure who is trying to like tweak out your anxieties because they don't like your new independent energy. And it's not necessarily manipulative. It's not necessarily, but like they're used to a certain dynamic with you and they want to challenge it because you're trying to change and they don't like change. And that's all it is that as you have grown into your new self, there is some fear and frustration. And because one of the reasons to heal from codependency is it's a very fear-based thing. When you're codependent, you don't have enough faith in yourself. You don't believe in your own individual power, and you don't believe that you are unique and worthy of love. You think that your worth lies in how somebody else treats you rather than how you treat yourself or how you feel about yourself. One of the figures who went into forming your codependency or perpetuating it in your adult life is trying to have a voice in your life. Don't allow guilt over, because, oh, that's what the guilt is. Somebody's very used to pulling your strings with guilt. You're being warned or informed that that's coming up. You should be able to handle it just fine. Just remember, it is your life. It is your life. And you are meant to be the person in charge of it. Journey. Lots and lots of stuff about moving forward. Yin Yang, good balance. Seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel. Boy, your connection to the divine is increasing once again after a period of like not being connected. Like your dream world should get very interesting. A woman holding a coin. That's a very good, like, rooted energy. That is a secure energy. That is a confident energy. I'm going to put it down. I understand now. Listen, if somebody is kind of saying that your relationship with them will change, if you change, it needs to. It's for the best. Don't be frightened by that. Like you're not being disowned. Okay. Like, and like that person might freak out enough that it kind of seems that way. They really might. But you're really supposed to be the person saying that, like, listen, I tried and I tried, but there's this thing called the boundary and you've never known how to respect it. And since you won't, I have to put them up. And it's not because I hate you, but I also cannot let you run my life. And you don't need to, you don't like, what happened was there's something about this person's approval that was very key to causing a lot of the problems that you experienced. And they know that. Like, they know that when, like, that there's a part of you that, just like most people do, they want the approval of their formative relationships in their life. I think you've kind of freed yourself from that. Just keep working on it. And sincerely, know that, like, codependency goes both ways. That person's not cutting you off. Like, they will have to learn to respect the person that you've become, because they are very dependent on the relationships in their life, and you've ceased being so. So remember, at first there might be bluster and there might be blow, but ultimately you are the person in charge. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to, like, to give and receive the highest energy of all. Boy, there's just so much healed energy. Finally, long last. Okay. Stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens with getting to know each other. There's been an awful lot about new relationships coming to people as well. So group number 3, a little bit of a test. It could be coming up with a maternal figure in your life. We do, in the United States, Mother's Day is, I think, next weekend, not this weekend, but the weekend after that. If you remember, you can kindly set boundaries. Like, that was something that was hard for you to learn too. You used to set them basically with a bazooka because they were way too close in. So, like, somebody could infringe upon your space and your right to make your own decisions and, like, your own personal power. And only when they were, like, basically right up in your face would you be like, stop. And it would be way too assertive. Like, it would be crater in the earth. Oh my gosh, there's a smoking pile of rubble where that one stood, type of thing. And you have learned to, and for a while, like, they were way too far out. Like, nobody could get anywhere near you. Nobody could get anywhere near you. And you're striking the middle ground. And you have a figure in your life who went into forming that. It is likely a parental figure. It doesn't have to be. It could be a good friendship, because it does not look like a romantic pairing to me here, who is trying to make sure that you have not changed, because they don't want to. They don't want to. So there's going to be a little bit of dinner theater with that. But you have really good changes coming up. And there was so much progress. Graduation day, you're going to know. You're going to have an opportunity in the next, it is very close in, very soon. I really would say this is within the 10-day period here. You'll have an opportunity to recognize how all of that work and all of that, sometimes misery, like, went into doing something important. Okay, pile number 3, that was your reading for the week. I will edit in timestamps after the broadcast. Pile number 4, I'm moving on to your reading. Again, we're using crystals today because it's just too hot, and I have to have my air conditioning blowing, which unfortunately, like, really screws up the candle flames and causes them to burn at a strange rate. And I like to be able to watch the candle flame because it can tell me things. When the air conditioning is at play, I don't get that information. And so it's also just too hot to be around a flame today. So, clear quartz. This is a very good grounding energy. It can amplify other crystals as well. It can stand in for other crystals. If you're doing some kind of meditation or spell work that calls for this, that, or the other, clear quartz can stand in for it. It's like bay leaves can stand in for other ingredients in most folk magic. You can just kind of bless, empower, and activate them to stand in for those things. And clear quartz is one of the things that, if you're setting up a crystal grid, can act as an amplifier as well. It is a protective one. It's also very pretty. Put you over there. All right, let's get your oracle cards for the week. Wandering path. Enjoy the journey. Queen bee. Good, good, good. Feeling large and in charge. And I think like having a little bit more fun. The elements of fire, air, earth, and water combine to create powerful protective boundaries, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. This is one of the cards for the guardians who guard the four corners. And those are in the belief system I was raised in. I don't practice it any longer, but I still use the names because I just resonate with it. Since I was a child, what I was connected to, I always refer to as Gabriel. It is actually the Archangel Gabriel, or the spirit of air, the guardian of the element of air, and the advanced spirit of communication. Raphael is water, Uriel is fire, and Michael is earth. And so when we're talking about the elements being on your side and forming protection, this is the guardians around you. Queen bee, that really is being in charge again. Unfinished symphony. Let's hope it's got an ending at long, long last. Happy, happy. Apparently it does. Oh, something has come to an end. Make no judgments. Such a difficult energy. And what does that mean? Like, does it mean like, I found out my next door neighbor is beating the crap out of his wife. By the way, that's not true. My next door neighbor is a delightful human being. But if you did, and you thought, what a horrible human being, that is at least a little bit appropriate. Like, you're allowed to like have an aversion to something heinous, but you may not know what into forming that person. Like, he may have come from a terrible set of circumstances in which he never learned any better. And he's just a person in pain. And yes, he's damaging other people, but if he could have somebody reach towards him for compassion, he could go and he could learn something new and he could change. So making no judgments isn't about like, who am I to judge anyone? Have good judgment for who you allow into your life. But remember, if you don't wish to be judged, don't judge others. When you judge others, you prevent any progress, any growth, or any increase for you or for them in what could be an exchange. Try to approach people with compassion. And sometimes it will become obvious and clear that it's like, oh, no, I need to have my shield set to DEFCON, get away from me. And that's going to be appropriate. But try to approach things with, no matter what it is. I run into this all the time because of what I do. Like, some people can be like, oh, you're a carny worker or something. And it can very much startle them because it doesn't, I guess my demeanor or something doesn't fit with what I do. Making no judgments is get more information before you decide as well. Sacrifice. Courage. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. That is what independence gives you, confidence. And confidence and courage are the things that take out anxiety. My empaths, we are all prone to anxiety and worry. We're intuitive, and so we have that forward thinking, but we have a tendency to not be grounded enough sometimes. That's why root chakra work, getting out there into nature constantly as much as you can. Performing physical tasks can also be grounding. You can listen to root chakra bowls. You can, anything. I house clean sometimes as a grounding exercise because it gets me very much in touch with my environment in the 3D. And that's grounding as well. By the way, cleaning is very, very good for anxiety. And if you're overwhelmed by like, oh, well, you haven't seen my place, lady, oh my gosh, just start with one area. Do as much as you can. Like, you can shift things and clean it up, get rid of what you can. You will feel better in an ordered environment. Trust your intuition. My goodness, is that ever good advice? Enjoy the journey. Happy, happy. Sacrifice. There's something you're leaving behind, but you're going towards something that will make you happier than you believe it to be. Like, there's something something changed, and it might feel like a rejection, but it's not. It's freedom and power. And everything that comes to you after this point, you will know that you made. All right, 3 of Wands in reverse. What do we got here? This is the Celestial deck. With the 9 of Cups in reverse, that is disappointment. 8 of Swords in the upright with the 2 of Swords in the upright. I think you're fearing disappointment versus experiencing it. Because the 8 of Swords is a card for doubting yourself. Four of Cups in the upright. There's discontent sometimes, boredom as well, not being satisfied with the choices available to you, but there is always something new coming in behind that. Four of Swords in the upright, numerological repetition. Fours are about stability, sometimes union as well. Prince of Cups in reverse. A lot of frustration around this with the Princess of Wands in reverse. Ten of Cups in reverse in the hopes and fears. King of Pentacles in reverse. Well, let's hope this takes a turn. The Devil in the upright. Six of Swords in reverse. The Seven of Swords in reverse. The Tower in the upright. Seven of Pentacles in the upright. Temperance in reverse. Hierophant in reverse. Five of Pentacles in reverse. Seven of Cups in reverse. The Emperor in the upright. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. The Sun in the upright. The Empress in the upright. Okay, I hardly ever get to say this because so many people in my collective are healing and like frequently are being held like in a solitary energy as they heal. That's two cards of conception, like right in a row. Be careful around that. If you're not interested in procreating at this particular time, know that like back to back, that is like, hey, be careful, be aware of birth control if that is something that you are not interested in planning quite yet. If you are, then know that it looks like a very fertile season is coming up for you over the course of summer. But that is also loving life and healing everything around it after a period of depression and frustration and anxiety. You are feeling your own power once again. Your sense of personal power, you didn't know that it was going to be healing, but it is. You've been disappointed because of that the essentially the marsh that like you were trying to wade through, where every step felt like it took like all of your energy and you never made progress on anything. There is a lot coming to be. Tower in the upright, Seven of Pentacles in the upright. Something is coming into being that you have all but given up on. And it does appear to be surrounding your own happiness. I don't have it as a person, oddly enough. I don't have it as like manifesting as a relationship or a person. It's a set of circumstances. It's in almost every area. Enjoy the journey, Queen Bee. This is a little bit fun. You kind of have opportunities over the course of the next couple weeks to kind of feel your own power. Like to like really know that you've made the things happen that you wanted to. There are a lot of voices trying to contribute to your journey. Like, because I think you went through a lot, like people keep trying to have like a say in what you're doing. And trust yourself. And don't be, the good thing about everything that you've been through is that you're not a very fear-based person any longer. You know, you have anxiety, but like whatever you've been through is like, has been so difficult that fear just kind of doesn't enter into it, simply because it's like, well, all that stuff happened and it was exactly what I had been fearing. and here I am and I'm okay. It was to help you coming to life. Okay, that's the third card. That's the third card around that. Bone Collector, slow and steady. That was the process of healing. Ride the wave. Progress, and movement. Bone Collector is past traumas, slow and steady, ride the wave. You've been healing all that past traumas. Group number 4, like, again, I don't get to say this all that often in this particular collective. Like, there is a fertility energy that is just all over this. Now, if that gladdens your heart, then know that apparently the signs are saying now's a really good time. Now's a really good time. And if it doesn't, then make sure that you heed that as well. But fertility can also mean new developments, new things happening. And it's like you can't trust it yet. It's like you can't trust it yet. Even when good things happen, like you're a little bit like you've got a shield up around them going, well, that appears good. How's it going to turn out to be like a hideous occurrence in my life? You're just, they're done. They're done. And are you right? And like it really, you get tested and challenged and more things were brought into your life than were seemingly fair. Yeah, you're right. Like it was, some of it was very purposeful indeed. It was divine intervention. Um, and it was like duly noted that it went over with like, like arsenic at a buffet. It was not a welcome addition to your life, but it accomplished everything it was meant to. And there will be a period in your life, and it's like this time next year, and it's not going to take very long. Like things are going to change far before that. But when you're looking back next year, as insane as it sounds, you will be so grateful for all the ways in which you were tested, because it did give you faith in you. Like you had faith in everything but for a very long time. Everything you went through, that feeling of disconnection after like always being very connected, it wasn't about leaving you high and dry. It's that nothing that they could do, nothing that was arranged, nothing you were told, because people told you over and over and over again, you're special, you're this, you're that. And you just, it's one ear and out the other. You had no faith in yourself. And the reason that you were denied so many things, even things that you were told were going to happen in readings, was to challenge that faith so you could start turning your faith inward. And is that a little bit of a dirty trick? Maybe. But you'll understand why it was necessary, because you're going to feel so much better than you've ever felt in your life now that you have faith in yourself first. It's great to have faith in the divine. It's great to have faith in your spirit guides. It's great to have faith in your family, your friends, your partners. Your primary source is that your primary source is within. It just is. Everything will resonate better. It will take deeper root. It will flourish more. It will produce more. If the faith is not in an exterior source, but it starts within it, and it encompasses exterior sources as well. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership, healing family issues. Wow, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents with forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. And your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Listen, some of these cards aren't worded well, and that's one of them that like I don't really dig. That's shadow work. That is looking for your core wounds. That is formative damage as well. I was just telling one of the earlier groups, one of the videos that I have planned has to do with, how do I do my shadow work? What formative damage do I need to heal? Because it's just so necessary to step into your personal power, to have the ultimate faith in you. And that is not about arrogance or conceit. And part of the way that I think your self-esteem got damaged was that whenever you felt a little confident, like you were told that you were being, like it was received negatively. And it wasn't. It's just that you were always this very kind of easy to push around person because you didn't have a lot of faith in yourself. And whenever you weren't, like people sort of attacked that because it was to their advantage that you were easily led to follow their decision-making process instead of your own. I'm going to go to spooky for this group. Okay. 3 of Pentacles in the upright is a collaborative work. God help you. Like the only reason I'm saying that is the methods that were employed were just like it left you feeling just bereft on so many occasions, as if everybody else in the world was like you felt like you might be in a prison cell. Like this, you see like the Highlander, where it turned out that like, oh, giant spoiler for Highlander, slash 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 spoiler. In Highlander, I guess they were all criminals, and this was like the one who survived got to get out of jail. And they had committed crimes in some other like galaxy or something. I really don't know. I read the premise once and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And also like, that's a really weird thing to reveal at the very end. And you have felt like maybe there was something to that. Like this whole lifetime has been like, I must have been somebody terrible in a different lifetime. What did I do? Was I a cannibal? Like you really have wondered what you've done that like, it was just really hard. It was really, really hard. And the divine was working with what was available. It's hard on everybody. Depression, anxiety, anger, like were resulting. Confusion. All right, good. Finally, fears are being allayed. Can I get a little bit more? That's all stuff I already know. Empress in the upright. Okay. The only reason, okay. 4 wands in the upright. Okay. So, group number 4. You're never going to be fully grateful. I only laughed because I keep getting this vision of like just how hard it has been. And it's not funny. It's just a lot. It's one of those like laugh or cry type of things. It's like, oh, might as well laugh because it's like it was like penned by Dickens or something. You got put through a lot. And it was like your faith was challenged in absolutely everything. There was confusion. There was a lot of pain. And like you just asked why, what did I do over and over and over and over again? And like you wouldn't believe the answer, which was that like, this is for your own good. We're trying to help you be strong and powerful and love your life and feel stable in it. And like, you couldn't see it and you couldn't see it and you couldn't see it. And like, now it's like you're about to turn a corner and see it. You're about to turn a corner and see it. And like I said, I'm not sure that like gratitude for all of the stuff that went into it is ever going to truly be what you feel, but you will see the necessity of it. Particularly, I'm sorry, hold on. Something around May 12th. There's something right around May 12th. It's something you've been waiting for, a development that you've been hoping for, that will bring something back into your life, that like a feeling of contentment, stability, and connection. It's something that will reconnect you. It's something that will reconnect you with your relationship to source, to the divine, to, if you use the terminology, to God. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be editing in timestamps right after the broadcast. Have a wonderful week, and thank you for putting up with the no candles thing. It was just too hot. Take care. Be well.